Everybody, Chris with Clutter Reduction Junk Removal in Southeast Florida. We are in a U-Haul right now. I had to rent this for a big job we had yesterday that had to be done last minute. If you want to check out the previous video. Now, speaking of U-Hauls, if you don't know, I started my junk removal business using U-Hauls. I did not have a pickup truck of any sort, no trailers. I had brothers with pickup trucks, but not the kind that can say, yeah, you can go use that for junk, sure. So I had to get U-Hauls. Why? Because it was nearby, it's more versatile, and at the end of the day, I found it to be easier than using Home Depot trucks or Lowe's trucks, which you weren't able to reserve. It was first come, first serve. So overall, I found that the U-Haul trucks are best. Now, there are a couple of things that I learned to do and not to do when using rental trucks for junk removal. And the biggest thing I can recommend is to get all the details and photos ahead of time before renting the truck to go do a job. So I would ask people, yeah, I can give you a price. Can you send me a couple of photos? Now, some people aren't going to want to send photos, or they're not going to be able to send photos. If you have a vehicle you can go out to give an estimate for, then do that and then decide, okay, I'll go rent a truck and come back in a little bit. But don't rent a truck without knowing that you're 100% getting that job, because then you are going to be automatically starting off in the negative. And it's not like a $5 or $10 like Google ad lead negative. It's usually like a $30 to $50 negative, because you have to pay for the truck, you have to pay for insurance, you have to pay for the mileage, and then you have to pay for the gas, not including your time. So I would get photos, and then if the photos weren't super clear, I would use the surrounding area to confirm it. If it was a pile of clutter in the corner of a room and I can see a window off to the side, I know, okay, there's a good chance that window is not more than 4 feet high from the ground, and that pile is less than the window. So I know that pile is less than 4 feet tall. And then you can kind of gauge, okay, doesn't look like it sticks out too far, so maybe the whole thing's like maybe 2-3 cubic yards at most. Or if there's a dresser next to a couch and the dresser is the same height as the couch, okay, it's probably a 30-inch high couch, so the dresser's probably around the same height. And then it doesn't look like it's quite as long of a couch, so maybe it's a 6-foot dresser. So let's call it a cubic yard and a half. And then I'll use that to my advantage. So that way I can make sure that when I'm quoting these prices over the phone with photos, I can be as accurate as possible. I would ask the clients, hey, are you in a house? Are you in an apartment? Are there stairs? Do you have long walks? Do you have an elevator? Not so much the long walk question. I would ask more like, is this all in the house, or do you have anything in the backyard or side yards? And then I would try to get the address if possible, because I can Google Maps that and see roughly where it is, what's parking gonna look like. Are they in a quad villa where you have to walk up and go around the whole complex to get to the little back end area? May not seem like a big deal, but that does add up in time. So I'm trying to cover all my bases as quickly as possible. And it might sound like a lot, but in reality, this is like 30 seconds of questions and 30 seconds of doing your homework. You should just know these things going into junk removal, because it's what the job entails. And you'll learn as you get, more in tune with it. But I would find out all these details to give the best accurate price possible. And then I don't do anything until they confirm that I'm going to be coming by. So I will tell them, hey, I think it's going to be this much or within this range. And they say, okay, great. What I would now do is I would confirm by using details of what I'm going to be expecting when I get there. Fantastic. I will give you a call when I am on my way. I will be there at this time. I am going to be taking payment at the end of the job by these payment options. And then I will give you a copy of an invoice, whether that's paper or electronic. That way they know in their mind, okay, he's going to let me know when he's on his way, so he's definitely coming. So I don't have to call another company anymore. This is how he's taking payment, so I know he takes payment at the end of it and not later down the road whenever I feel like paying. And I'm going to be getting an invoice copy, so he's not just some random guy who's going to just be taking cash and then just disappearing out of my life. Those are things that I found to be helpful, in addition to the photos. But this way, I'm not going to agree to a job, go out there and they say, I don't know, can you do it for 50 bucks less? Can you do it for $100 less? And I say, and they're like, all right, well, I'll go find somebody else. I got this U-Haul already. So those are a couple things I learned not to do and to do. Hopefully that helps. If you have any other questions about using rental trucks when you're first starting off in junk removal, ask below. I probably dealt with it one way or another. And we're gonna go drop off this U-Haul, get it out of my life and out of our front yard, and go continue on with our day. So we will see you all next time.